The Holocaust, or Shoah, refers to the systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of approximately 6 million European Jews by the Nazi regime and its collaborators. This campaign occurred between 1933 and 1945. The Holocaust was not a single event, but a sustained campaign of genocide driven by state-level anti-Semitism. The process of destruction began long before mass violence. The Nazi regime systematically dismantled civil rights, turning the legal system into a tool for exclusion. In 1935, the Nuremberg Laws were enacted. These statutes stripped Jewish citizens of their basic rights, criminalized intermarriage, and officially categorized citizens by race to force societal separation. This was a gradual process. Jewish citizens were systematically fired from civil service positions, banned from practicing law or medicine, expelled from schools, and eventually had their businesses and assets seized by the state. By dismantling the judicial system, the regime normalized dehumanization. This erosion of democratic norms was not an accident, but a calculated mechanism to silence dissent and isolate targeted groups. While the Jewish people were the primary target for total annihilation, Nazi ideology also sought the systematic elimination of other groups. Each group faced distinct horrific forms of persecution. The regime systematically targeted Romani people, individuals with disabilities, Soviet prisoners of war, and Polish civilians. They also persecuted Jehovah's Witnesses and LGBTQ+ individuals, subjecting each group to specific state-sanctioned violence. Each group faced distinct systematic methods of persecution. This expansion of violence reflected a fanatical worldview that sought to eliminate anyone deemed undesirable to the Nazi pursuit of racial and social purity. The methodology of murder evolved from decentralized violence to industrialized extermination. Initially, the Nazis utilized mobile death squads known as the Einsatzgruppen. These squads performed systematic mass shootings across Eastern Europe. However, the leadership soon sought more efficient methods to carry out the final solution. This led to the construction of specialized death camps like Auschwitz-Birkenau and Treblinka, designed specifically for mechanized mass murder. By shifting to this industrialized approach, the Nazi regime transformed the act of killing into a bureaucratic and mechanical process. The Holocaust was not an inevitable historical event. It was the result of millions of individual choices made by people across all levels of society. Beyond Hitler and the Nazi leadership, the logistics of genocide relied on ordinary bureaucrats, railway employees, and local police forces. These daily acts enabled the industrial scale of murder. This highlights the critical importance of personal responsibility in preventing injustice. As the witness generation passes, Holocaust education enters a critical transition phase. We are now entering the era of secondary memory. To preserve these testimonies, we rely on digital archives, AI-assisted interactive interviews, and virtual reality reconstructions. These tools bridge the gap, allowing future generations to engage with history despite the absence of living witnesses. Our responsibility remains the same: ensuring the truth of these events is preserved for future generations, preventing the erosion of memory. Experts warn that Holocaust distortion, trivializing the event or shifting blame, is currently more pervasive than outright denial. This includes misleading narratives and AI-generated misinformation found on social media platforms. It is essential to counter this by using primary, verified sources. Organizations like Yad Vashem offer historical documentation that allows us to distinguish between revisionist propaganda and established historical record. Media literacy and historical scrutiny are the most effective tools for preserving the integrity of memory against the erosion of historical truth. We study the Holocaust to identify the precursors to genocide. History shows us that these tragedies are preceded by systematic dehumanization, the gradual erosion of democratic norms, and the weaponization of state-sponsored propaganda. By learning the historical facts, we can better understand how to protect human rights. Recognizing these early warning signs of rising hatred is essential for maintaining the integrity of democratic societies. Ultimately, the Holocaust was not an inevitability, but the result of millions of individual decisions. Today, personal responsibility remains our greatest defense against the encroachment of injustice in our modern world.